Welcome back to the Microsoft AI Adoption Accelerator. This is episode 8, Measuring Value with the Copilot Dashboard. 7 episodes in, your rollout has fluency, governance, and trust. Now comes the question every CFO asks at month 6 and every CEO asks at month 9. Show me the value. This is the episode that decides whether year 2 is a celebration or a justification. We are going to look at which signals actually matter. Which ones are vanity, the 4 metrics that count in year 1, and how to read the Copilot dashboard without flattering yourself. Let's get into it. Quick recap. People can prompt. Champions are demoing. Trust signals are operational. And now you have a renewal conversation in the calendar. Without measurement, the pattern is predictable. The team brings anecdotes and champion testimonials. The CFO listens politely, asks for the number, gets a hand-wavy answer, and the renewal moves to a working group. With measurement, the conversation is different. Baselines, dashboards, 3 honest numbers, and a clear time-saved story per persona. The CFO does not need to be convinced. The CFO opens the year 2 conversation early and asks what else they could be doing. Same rollout, same usage growth, different reception, because one of them is measurable. Here is the measurement gap in one number. Comparable enterprise rollouts that measure value rigorously deliver roughly 3 times the year 1 ROI of rollouts that rely on anecdotes. Same product, same population, dramatically different outcome. The reason is simple. What you measure is what you fund. Vanity metrics, logins, weekly active users, prompt counts, satisfaction scores from people who self-selected into the pilot. They tell you the technology is being used. They do not tell you anything is changing. Value metrics, hours saved per persona per week, decisions accelerated by a measurable margin, customer or employee outcomes that shifted in the right direction. They tell you the work is different. Same dashboards, same data. The difference is which questions you ask of it. Spend an hour designing your measurement framework before you spend a quarter explaining your rollout. 4 metrics that matter in year 1. Memorize them. 1. Adoption depth. Not weekly active users. That's a vanity metric. Depth means what percentage of licensed users are using Copilot in 3 or more workflows per week. The depth number tells you whether Copilot has crossed from novelty to habit. 2. Time reclaimed. Hours saved per persona per week. Sampled honestly through structured self-report and validated against task time studies. We will talk about how to measure this without flattering yourself in 2 slides. 3. Outcome shift. The business metric that the use case was supposed to move. Faster contract turnaround. Higher first call resolution. Shorter sales cycle. Faster grant submission. The outcome is the only metric the CFO actually cares about. Everything else is a leading indicator. 4. Sentiment trajectory. Not a one-time satisfaction score. The slope of how people feel over time, segmented by persona. A flat line says, rollout has stalled. A rising line says, momentum is real. 2 of these, depth and sentiment, are leading indicators. 2 of them, time and outcome, are lagging. You need both. Leading tells you what is coming. Lagging tells you what has happened. The most common measurement trap. Adoption equals value. It does not. Adoption is the cost of entry. If no one is using it, nothing else matters. But adoption alone tells you nothing about value. A team can use Copilot every day and produce the same output in the same time at the same quality. That is adoption without value. That is the rollout that the CFO will quietly defund in year 2. Value means the work is different. The output is faster or higher quality, or new outputs are being produced that were not possible before. The shape of someone's day has changed. They are doing something they could not do, or they are doing it dramatically better. Adoption is necessary. Value is sufficient. Measure both. Report both. And if your adoption is high, but your value is flat, you have a use case problem, not a tool problem. Go back to episode 4. The Copilot Dashboard. Microsoft built you a measurement instrument. Most rollouts use it wrong. Here is what to read and how. Enabled users, the count of licensed users, useful for cost reconciliation, useless for value. Active users, the count of users who interacted with Copilot in the last 28 days. The headline number, but watch the rate, not the count. A growing absolute number with a falling rate is the warning sign. Usage by app, Word, Excel, Outlook, Teams, PowerPoint, tells you which surfaces have crossed into habit. Outlook leads early. Excel and PowerPoint follow with training. Word and Teams plateau quickly without champion intervention. Actions per user, how many Copilot interactions per active user per period. The depth metric. A flat line means novelty has worn off. A rising line means people are finding new uses. Return user rate. What percentage of week N users return in week N+1? The single best leading indicator of stickiness. If it is below 60%, your champions need to surface in those teams. Satisfaction, useful only when segmented by persona and tracked over time. The dashboard answers 4 questions: who, where, how often, and how it feels. It does not answer how much value, that one you have to instrument yourself. Baselines you can defend. The number one mistake is measuring after the rollout and comparing to nothing. The CFO's question is always, compared to what? 3 sources of baseline. 1. Pre-rollout measurement. Before Copilot lands in a team, instrument the work. Time studies on the 3 or 4 tasks you expect to change. Quality samples on the outputs that matter. Self-reported time on task. 2 weeks of data, taken honestly. This is the gold standard, and it is the one rollouts almost always skip. 2. Comparison group. A matched population that is not yet on Copilot. Same role, same workload, same period. Their numbers are the control. This is the simplest design and the hardest to argue with, and you have it built in if you sequence your rollout deliberately. 3. Industry benchmark. Microsoft customer outcomes data, peer studies, analyst reports. Useful for triangulation, not standalone. With 3 sources, you can defend a number. With 1, you have an opinion. The CFO can tell the difference. Time saved, measured honestly. This is the metric most likely to be inflated, most likely to be challenged, and most likely to collapse under scrutiny. 3 techniques used together. 1. Structured self-report, not a survey of do you save time. A weekly sample of 50 to 100 users asked precisely, for the email triage task you did this morning, did Copilot save you time and roughly how many minutes? Specific task, specific moment, specific number, aggregate across the sample. 2. Task time studies. 2 or 3 times a year, run a controlled task time study. Same task, with and without Copilot, observed. The number you produce is small in scope and high in confidence, and it validates whether the self-report numbers are credible. 3. Discounted hours. Whatever your aggregate time-saved number is, apply a haircut, typically 30 to 50%, before you put it in front of the CFO. Reasons: non-productive time absorbed, optimism bias in self-report, incomplete adoption. The discounted number is the one you defend. The undiscounted number is the one you lose credibility with. The team that brings the lower defensible number to the executive review wins the year 2 budget. The team that brings the headline number wins the meeting and loses the renewal. The metric that pays the bill, outcome shift. Whatever the use case is supposed to move, measure the move. 3 examples taken from real customer outcomes. Sales cycle days. The team that uses Copilot for proposal drafting and CRM updates closes 14% faster on comparable deals. The proxy metric is days. The dollar conversion is straightforward. Service, first call resolution. The contact center using Copilot for knowledge retrieval and reply drafting resolves 9% more tickets on the first contact. The proxy metric is rate. The cost saving is tangible. Operations, cycle time per ticket. The shared services team using Copilot for case summarization and decision letters reduces cycle time by 22%. The proxy metric is time per ticket. The capacity unlocked is the story. Pick a metric your operating system already tracks. Do not invent a new metric for Copilot. Instrument the metric your business already cares about. Show the delta. Then attribute responsibly. Adoption, training, process change, and Copilot all contributed. Honest attribution is more credible than triumphant attribution. The CFO knows the difference. Reporting has a cadence. Match the audience to the layer. Weekly to the program team. Operational signals. Return user rate, depth metric, drop-offs by team, champion engagement. The team that runs the program needs the numbers fresh. Monthly to the executive sponsor. The mix. Leading indicators of momentum, lagging indicators of value, 3 or 4 use cases with their outcome shift. The sponsor needs to know whether the rollout is on track, where it is stuck, and where to lean in. Quarterly to the steering group and the CFO. The outcome story, value delivered against baseline, value pipeline for next quarter, ROI envelope, lessons. This is the meeting that earns or loses year 2. The mistake is using the same report for all 3 audiences. The program team will be bored by the quarterly story. The CFO will be confused by the weekly numbers. 3 reports, 3 rhythms, same data, different framing. 3 measurement anti-patterns. Mistake 1, the vanity dashboard. We hit 100,000 prompts. Active users grew 40%. Logins doubled. None of these answer the question the CFO is asking, what changed in the work? Result? The executive review feels good in the room and lands flat in the budget cycle. Mistake 2, anecdote only. The CFO loved it. Sales had a great quarter. Marketing said it transformed their workflow. Anecdotes are powerful, and they are not evidence. Result: the auditor or finance partner asks for the underlying data, the data is not there, and credibility deflates. Use anecdotes to color the numbers, never to replace them. Mistake 3, pure self-report. The satisfaction survey said 4.2 out of 5. Half the respondents would recommend it. None of this triangulates with task time, with outcomes, or with a comparison group. Result: first skeptic in the room dismantles the case in 30 seconds. The fix for all 3, triangulate. Adoption depth, time reclaimed, outcome shift, sentiment trajectory, 4 metrics, multiple methods, 1 credible story. 3 things that kill the value story. 1, measuring too late. The review is in 2 weeks, and the data has not been collected. The team scrambles to pull together a number, the baseline does not exist, and the case is built on assumptions. Result: defensive, hand-wavy, unconvincing. Build the measurement framework before the rollout, not after. 2, measuring the wrong thing. Active users hit 80%. Brilliant. The CFO asks what changed, and the team has no answer, because no one instrumented the work. Result: the program team won the leading indicators and lost the lagging ones, and the lagging ones are what gets funded. 3, inflating to impress. We saved 4 hours per person per week. The CFO does the math, multiplies by salary times population, gets a number larger than the entire program budget, and asks where it is in the P&L. Crickets. The inflated number is unfalsifiable, and unfalsifiable numbers fail in the executive review. The lower defensible number is the one that earns year 2. 3 takeaways. 1, measure 4 things in year 1. Adoption depth, not active users. Time reclaimed, not prompts logged. Outcome shift on a metric your business already tracks. Sentiment trajectory, segmented by persona. 2 leading, 2 lagging, both required. 2, triangulate your baselines. Pre-rollout measurement, comparison group, industry benchmark. 1 source is an opinion. 3 sources is a defensible number. 3, discount honestly. The team that brings the lower defensible number wins year 2. The team that brings the inflated headline wins the meeting and loses the renewal. Measurement is not the brake on your rollout. Measurement is what turns a rollout into an investment, and the reason year 2 is funded with confidence. Coming up in episode 9, Scaling Beyond the Pilot. Pilots are easy. Scale is hard. Episode 9 is about the moment your rollout grows from 1,000 seats to 10,000. What breaks, what holds, how to keep the trust and value signals you have just built when the operating model has to change. If today's episode helped you see why most rollouts lose the renewal conversation on the measurement question, do me a favor. Subscribe, share it with the person who runs your finance partner relationship, and join the 10-week journey. See you in episode 9.